Let's look at 1-point perspective. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to lay in our horizon line, and this is equal with our eye level. So if you're standing in a room, it's probably going to be a little bit above the center line of your page. Make sure you lay this in nice and light. You're going to want to erase some of it later, and if you push too hard, you're going to make an indentation in the paper and you'll never be able to erase it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay in our vanishing point. For right now, I'm going to do this right in the middle, and this is exactly where we're standing on the other side of the room. So if you're drawing a real room, the next thing you would do is kind of block in, what this back wall would be. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball and then I'll straighten out. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to create our orthogonals, which is going to give us our ceiling lines and our floor lines. And these come directly from the vanishing point out through the corners of that rectangle or the shape of that wall that we're looking at. Let's extend this guy a little bit more. Okay, so now we have our ceiling, our walls, and our floor. Let's put in a door. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of guesstimate that if we're going to put a door on this wall, the height of the door is going to be between kind of the middle line where our eyes are and the ceiling. So I'm going to line up at my vanishing point. I'm going to kind of eyeball where I think this should be. Let's make it a little taller. And then what I can do is I can pull down the sides of the door. Now, when you're drawing 1-point or 2-point perspective, all of your verticals are going to remain vertical no matter what. It doesn't matter. Your verticals will always remain vertical as long as the structure is sound and not the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay, so now we have a door structure. I'm going to go ahead and erase this line in here that we don't need because it's a little bit distracting. And now I'm going to put in what would be, part of the door frame. Again, always coming off of that vanishing point right in the middle. And if you know that you only need that line in one area, you don't have to draw it all over the place. If you want to be really precise with your verticals and your horizontals, you can use a T-square. I don't have one on hand, so I'm just eyeballing it, but you're more than welcome to do that. So here's my door. Let's put a little handle on it. Ooh. Let's put a window or a picture or a painting on this side of the wall. Again, if this is a window, I can go ahead and put in the frame lines. Awesome. Great. So now we have a little bit of a room built in. We can do a couple other things here. We can put a rug, we can put floorboards, we could do floor tiles, we could do ceiling tiles, we could put a picture on this wall. Anything that's on this back wall back here is still just going to be perfectly square because we are parallel to it. Let's put in a little coffee table. Sweet. So because I would be making this a lower coffee table, we're not going to be able to see the legs from the back side there. But we will be able to put in the kind of angle that these little legs would recede at. And be able to figure out where, if this was a glass table, we could put in those legs as well. Give it a little depth to the table there. Cool. We can put in a rug, we could put in floorboards. Let's put a couple pictures on this wall. So this is kind of plain, we could also we can put a table over here on this side of the wall. Let's say it meets about there. Maybe it's a shelf, whatever. So this is my farthest back leg. I'm going to use this one to meet back up at my vanishing point, and that's going to tell me, it's a very narrow table, where all of my other legs meet up. You could always go back, erase the lines that you don't need anymore. There's always going to be a lot of lines on the walls, especially on this back wall. If you do end up erasing these lines while you're drawing, it is important that you keep your vanishing point so you don't get wonky in your perspective. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to go all out here. Something else we could do though, for example, let's say we wanted to put a light fixture here, or a row of lights. You know, we could say, this is going to help us figure out, you know, if we have a couple round lights, how wide they're going to be in certain areas. So yeah, that's how 1 point perspective works.